Moving from Calgary to Nanaimo usually means paying more, but most people don't realize what actually gets cheaper once they're living here. If you're coming from Calgary or Airdrie, this will give you a clear breakdown of housing costs, day-to-day expenses, and where things shift once you're actually living here. Most people aren't just comparing the numbers. They're trying to figure out how the trade actually lands once everything is factored in. Because Calgary checks a lot of boxes. Affordable housing for a major city, clean, well laid out, but you're also dealing with long winters, cold snaps, and a pace that can feel pretty busy. Nanaimo is a different environment. Ocean, trees everywhere, milder winters. So let's break it down. What actually changes? In Calgary and Airdrie, the average home prices are typically in the $550,000 to about $750,000 range. In Nanaimo, you're right around $800,000 on average. So yes, in most cases, you're still buying up, but the gap isn't as wide as it used to be. And depending on the property and the neighborhood, sometimes that gap is smaller than people actually expect. Homes here are built for a different climate, and you'll notice larger windows, more natural light, and more open layouts. But here's what people don't usually factor in. It's not just what things cost, it's actually how your spending shifts once you're actually here. Property taxes are another piece. In Calgary, you're usually around 0.6 to 0.8%. In Nanaimo, you're closer to 0.45 to 0.55%. So even though purchase prices are slightly higher, the tax rate itself is a bit lower. Gas is one of the first things that people notice. Fuel in Nanaimo is typically 20 to 40 cents more per liter than Calgary or Airdrie, but Nanaimo is just over 100 square kilometers, so about 700 square kilometers less than Calgary. You're not dealing with the same distances or traffic patterns, so for a lot of people, you end up driving less overall, which means your total monthly fuel spend doesn't always increase the way people expect. Sometimes a bit higher, sometimes about the same. Groceries here are slightly higher. Most people spend about 5 to 10% more than they did in Alberta. You'll notice it in the basics: milk, eggs, chicken, produce. Your weekly shop comes in a bit higher. That said, you can still shop smart here. And believe it or not, we actually have pretty solid beef on the island as well. For most households, this usually works out to an extra couple $100 per month. Eating out follows a similar pattern. Slightly higher than Calgary, a casual meal for two, $50 to $80. It's not that you stop going out, you just become a little bit more intentional with it. Utilities are where things balance out. In Calgary, winter heating can get expensive quickly. In Nanaimo, milder winters, less extreme swings, and more use of heat pumps. So many people see lower heating costs overall. Then we have BC Hydro. BC Hydro also uses a tiered system. So once your usage increases, your cost per unit goes up. For most households, it's quite manageable, just something that you keep in mind. Insurance is another shift. We hear this all the time. Auto insurance in BC is typically higher than Alberta. Home insurance can vary. And older homes, which are common in Nanaimo, can sometimes carry higher premiums. And then there's the one cost Calgary doesn't have, and that's the ferry. A return trip with a vehicle is usually $120 to $220. If it's occasional, it's not a big deal. If it's frequent, it becomes part of your monthly planning. At a certain point, this stops being about the numbers. For families, more access to parks and trails, more time outside, year-round, less weather limitation. And for retirees, milder climates, fewer extreme seasons, and more manageable pace. The trade is pretty straightforward. You're paying more for a different environment and a different pace of life. Most people already understand the cost difference. They're trying to figure out what that actually looks like month to month and whether it lines up with how they want to live. If you're trying to figure out where you would actually fit within Nanaimo, we've put together a full Nanaimo neighborhood guide that breaks it down clearly. And if you're planning a move and you want to walk through your situation, feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help.